Sometimes life pushes you to make choices. I've been pushed into more corners of decision making than you can imagine. Most often, I found myself having to choose between work and family, especially as a single mother and only child. My name is Sherri Goodall. I'm here to tell you how I found myself in a dark place from overcommitment and a drive to succeed in business. I'm going to tell you how I came back from the edge and the 3 simple things that turned my business around that you can begin using immediately in your business too. This is how to reclaim your time and turn your passion into profit. You see, I have an insatiable drive and determination. You know, a true type A personality. As a matter of fact, I'm so completely driven by the word no that I have to prove anyone wrong who told me that I couldn't or shouldn't do something that I had made my mind up to do. I loved my job. I loved my job. I jumped out of bed most days and couldn't wait to get to work. I stayed late and I practically raised my child in the halls of my office building until one day I couldn't. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even think straight. I couldn't stop crying, and I cried about any and everything, and I didn't know what was wrong. Worst of all, I couldn't stop my mind from racing, and it was racing about work all the time. You see, I found myself at my doctor's office who told me that I was suffering from exhaustion and that I had to take a leave of absence immediately from my job. My blood pressure was sky high. My weight had been considered morbidly obese, and I had been having heart palpitations. And I had recently been hospitalized for severe sciatica, which left me unable to walk for about a week or longer. Now, let me just pause. Does this sound familiar to any of you? I know that I'm not alone. My doctor said, Ms. Goodall, you have to get some rest. You need to consider going to therapy. You have to take better care of yourself, and you won't make it to C50. Now, my initial reaction was, are you serious? I have to do what? I have too much to do. I have projects going on. My daughter is off in college. This is my time to climb the ladder, and this is my time to shine, and I can't sit down now. I spent many of days in bed dealing with my disbelief and crying and asking myself, how did I get here? What I realized was that I had lost track of time. And in losing track of time, I had lost myself. I had been running from pillar to post, being at volleyball tournaments, traveling for work, showing up for my aging parent, being a best friend, volunteering for church, sitting on advisory boards, and the list went on. And I had showed up for everyone but me. And I couldn't get that time back. So fast forward, 3 years ago, I found myself forced to make another choice. I had to choose between doing what I should do, which at the time was keep my head down at work and keep my job, or say forget it and go for what I know about myself and accept it to be true. What I mean by that is that I had to decide if I could live with the possibility of what if. What if I had taken the risk to start my business, but instead I had decided to stay at my job? I decided that I could not live with what if. The truth is, I've never been able to live with what if. So I took the leap into the pool of entrepreneurship with great enthusiasm. I was on my merry little way thinking there may be some rough patches, but nothing that I couldn't handle. Never, ever did I imagine that the rough patch would show up about 1 year into my journey. Do you know what the problem was? You can't imagine. I absolutely, unequivocally, beyond the shadow of a doubt, I'm about to tell you what no business owner will ever admit. I absolutely hated my business. I hated the work I was doing. I hated getting up, going to do it every day. And what I realized was that I was right back in the rut of trading time for money. And this was not what I had set out to do. I had to take a step back and really look at where I had gone wrong. After taking some deep personal inventory, I realized that I was not passionate about what I was doing. You see, I was working hard, making a little bit of money and getting successful results, but it wasn't the same passion that I had had for the last 13 years in my previous career. I was up to my eyeballs working in my business, responding to emails, balancing bank accounts, sending out inventory, and blah, 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 instead of working on my business. So over the next several months, I purchased a customer retention management software. I signed up for a gazillion workshops and webinars. I read books, I joined various groups. I bought every software and template that Instagram and Facebook shoved into my news feed. True, even as a digital marketing professional, we get caught up in buying stuff that are things we weren't looking for. It happens to the best of us. But by the time the spending spree ended, I had a bunch of tools that I was half using and not optimizing. Can anyone else relate to this? This whole shopping spree? I mean, come on, drop a yes in the chat box so that I know that I'm not alone and that you're here with me. Now, several $1,000s later, I realized that I had to narrow down to a few things and ask myself, if money were not a part of the equation, which services in my business gave me the most joy? Who were my velvet rope clients that I'd love to work with over and over again? How could I block time in my week to be creative about my business? What are the tasks that I hate doing the most, or the ones that take the most time away from growing my business? So I made a fearless decision. I decided to shred my business and shut it down until I was able to create a foundation that I liked and that would allow my business to grow the way that I had envisioned it when I had quit my job the year before. So here's what I did. I got a part-time job to cover my personal expenses. And I got a coach to talk me off the ledge and help me figure out my next move. I slowly but surely began to realize what I enjoyed the most. Now grab your pen and paper because I want you to write this down. This is the first step to reclaiming your time. I want you to ask yourself this question. What services or products do I enjoy working on the most in my business? I want you to get crystal clear about the services or products that you know inside out. The ones that you can think of 1,000,001 ways that it can benefit your customers. You know, the service or product that you never ever get tired of talking about? Take just a moment and write that down. Now, to begin reclaiming your time, you have to know beyond the shadow of a doubt what you enjoy the most. You may be asking yourself, how is this going to help me get my time back? I'm so glad you asked me, virtually speaking. When you love what you do, your creativity flows, ideas flow, and you don't have time to waste time researching or looking for how to connect the dots for your client because you know from experience and knowledge that it will work to resolve your client's problems. This means you have more time to focus on something else and set your client up for success. So here's the next thing I want you to write down. Remember this quote. When I set my client up for success, I reclaim my time. You reclaim your time because you aren't running your business by putting out fires everywhere. You have found your passion, and being clear about your passion does not consume your time in other areas of your life or business. As a matter of fact, it allows you to quickly cut out anything else that doesn't align with your passion. So now I had identified my passion, but I was forced with the demon of doubt. I mean, really, where in the world would I find the exact customers who needed what I had? Isn't that what every business owner asks? I still had to make money regardless of all the passion stuff. Now, this took me back once again, back to the drawing board and back to some self-reflection, not just personally, but as a business owner as well. Now, my agency is a business-to-business service provider, And I quickly realized that I needed to listen to other business owners. I needed to identify where they were falling short and where did they need help. Through this journey, I discovered who I enjoyed working with the most. I started identifying my velvet rope clients. I really realized that they were the people who were business owners like myself. They are men and women who have experience and background in their chosen industry. They have all the software, tools, books, webinars that they thought would move them forward, but find that it just isn't seeming to come together. The beauty of knowing my passion led me to the 4 main services and questions that our agencies work with that are the most important tools a business owner needs in a highly digital world. At my agency, we work with creating an effective website, email marketing, social media content, and the granddaddy of them all, sales funnels. Because every business, regardless of industry, or being a B2B or a B2C, we will all want to sell something. We all need customers. We all need conversions. These are the most important tools to consider when you are looking on how to do that. Now, what does all of this mean? It means that what you must do is find your tribe, which is the way that you find a group of people who have the problems that you can specifically solve with the things that you offer in your business, the things that you love. So, step number 2 is to identify your peeps. Find your peeps by getting involved in LinkedIn and Facebook groups, listen in on Twitter conversations, join networking groups, and listen for who may best benefit from what you have to offer. Then offer free advice. That's right, I said free. But don't worry about giving free advice because you will be establishing authority and leadership in your area of expertise. These people will come and work with you or refer others to you when they have a problem that they know you can solve. One of my mentors told me something that I'll never forget. She said, Sherri, when you help enough people with their problems, you will begin to have everything that you need. So write this down. Money is merely an exchange for the problems you solve. In step 2, you reclaim your time by not having to do so much cold calling and pitching. You create a customer base grown mainly through referrals. So after about 10 months, I relaunched my business to reclaim my time and be the entrepreneur that I had set out to be through getting clear about my passion, clear about who I should be working with. As the business began to pick up, I began to regularly review where I was and where I wanted to go, both personally and professionally. I was definitely better off than I had ever been. I was happier than I had been in a while, but something was still just not right. I was still juggling a lot of balls, more than I wanted to. I was making money, but I wasn't wealthy enough to hire a staff, or so I thought. Now, the third way I reclaimed my time, I had a revelation that I could hire someone to do the things that were tying up my time. This is what I want you to do as well. What I want you to do is write down right now, go ahead, get that pen and paper back out. Write down three to 5 things that you are doing in your business that you wish you had someone else to do for you. This is exactly what I did. You have to make a list. You must identify the tasks that are actually earning you money versus the tasks that are keeping your business up and running. Both are important, but none are more important than the tasks that make you money. If you're confused about which tasks are which, ask yourself this. What do my clients expect me to provide when they hire me that will put you on the right path? And that will help you identify where you can build a team to handle tasks in your business. You must realize that in order to be successful in business as a business owner or to be a boss like Ricky Ross, you must create a team. My first team member was a general virtual assistant or a VA, and me and a fellow business owner decided that we would share in the cost in bringing her on to work. So she set up systems and processes for us. She organized all of our tools we had purchased, but hadn't had time to really use the way they should be. And this worked out so good that we hired 2 more virtual assistants to work while we spent time growing our respective businesses. Now, I'm proud to say that I have several dedicated team members, as well as my shared virtual assistants. But since the Rona pandemic started, I'm going to admit that I've been binge watching some TV, devouring some audiobooks, but the one that has moved me and validated my decision the most to be a business owner has been The Last Dance. It's on Netflix. I want you to check it out. It's the story of the legendary Michael Jordan, his last year with the champion Chicago Bulls. Now, besides the sheer insight of the team and the behind the scenes politics, what you quickly come to understand is that there is no I in team. Jordan says it himself. He says, there would be no Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. Now, Jordan is arguably the best player to date in the game of basketball. He changed the NBA worldwide with his skills and sportsmanship. But what he did not do is become the player that he is known to be all by himself. There were coaches, his family, both on and off the court, the fans, and a mindset that catapult him to who we know him to be. You must get your mind right. You must get in the game, and you must assemble a team. Who will be on your team today? Notice I said today, and I said that because your team will change. Some players are there for the season, some players are there for the long haul, but that is perfectly okay. You will be the captain on your team, and you will lead your team to championship. The final way that I want you to reclaim your time is by building your team. Right now, write down 2 or 3 people who will work on your team, even if you can't pay them right now because they believe in your vision. Write them down right now. Hurry up. I want you to start by putting my name, Sherri Goodall, at the top of the list. I want to be on your team, and I will bring my team with me to have your back. You've heard it said before, but it's worth repeating. The race is not given to the fast or the strong, but to them that finish. You may be saying to yourself, but Sherri, I don't know if I can afford to work with someone like you or another person. Or you might say, I've been doing okay so far. I'll come back to this later. What I'm going to tell you is congratulations. You're right. You have done a good job so far. But good can only lead to great. And when you decide to be great, when you decide to take a step back in your business and add a team member who wants nothing more than to see you win, that's when you turn your passion into profit. If you are not ready to make this move, it's okay. This might not be right for you, or it might not be the right time. But if you are ready to run this race with me to win, then I want you to head over to reclaimmytime.com. And there you can register for my free webinar on funnels from scratch. Me and my team will show up, and we're going to show you how to tie together all those softwares and templates and tools that you've invested in, like we did. And I will provide a resource list and worksheets. And those worksheets will show you how you can find your passion, identify your tribe, and build your team so that together, you and I can focus on growing your revenue. Now, I want you to stack your odds and finish strong with reclaiming your time by turning your passion into profit. And I've enjoyed having this time with you. I look forward to hearing from you on all social media. You can find me as I am Sherri Goodall. And I can't wait to have you join me and the team at reclaimmytime.com. I am a comeback champion, and today is my January 1st.